Taurus, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they're impacting your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. I'm going to start out really broad with the big stuff, like the general energy that's happening that basically globally or nationally everybody's going to feel. I'm not going to get political. I'm just going to discuss the energies. And then I'm going to focus that down into Taurus specific information that all of you should be aware of. And then I'll break things down into the decans of Taurus, which are groups of 10 degrees, and there's 3 in Taurus. There's 3 in every zodiac sign. By doing that, it helps me understand exactly how your natal sun or where your natal sun falls in Taurus is being impacted by the planets around it. All you need to know to enjoy this video is your birth date, because I will translate the decans into the birth date span, so you'll know where your birthday falls. But definitely get a natal chart if you're interested and you really want to know exactly where your natal sun is located. They're free, they're easy to get. You do need your birth time, birthplace, and birth date. So sometimes it's hard to put together that information, but generally speaking, once you have it, you can get a natal chart in about 3 seconds. So let's dive down into the big stuff. For those of you who did not read the thumbnail or the title, this is for the week of July 13th through the 19th of 2023. And in case you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's always the notes that I write down for you guys. So big shifts this week in our modality, mentality, and general overall focus of our life trajectory, because the nodes are shifting on the same day there's a new moon, and that is on the 17th of July. Now, this new moon in Cancer is directly opposite Pluto, which means a huge shift in our awareness of ourself, our ego, and what matters to us, especially since it's also square to the nodes as they shift from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra. So the north node is shifting into Aries, and the south node is shifting into Libra. This is a consciousness shift of the journey between understanding who we are in partnership with others and how we help to make ourselves and our sense of uniqueness and singularity stronger through our connections to others. So it really marks a consciousness shift now. The new moon is got a lot going on. It's square the nodes as the nodes shift, and in opposition to Pluto, which just means a huge, almost paradigm shift in our sense of ego, our sense of self, and how we define who we are or see ourselves. But it's also trine to Neptune, which is very spiritual energy, and opening ourselves up to the divine and feeling a tranquility and harmony with our psychic energies and our intuition, as well as a sextile to Uranus, which is our uniqueness, our independence, and our individuality, as well as just happy surprises with our different interests or even technological advancements that expose us to a heightened sense of spirituality as we shift our consciousness of what we think of ourselves because of something huge that ends up happening. Could be just a big natural event as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens on that date. All week long, the sun is in opposition to Pluto, which talks about a shifting in our personal perception of who we are. We can take things to the extreme during this energy, so it's good to be careful. But ultimately, I think this is almost fated in a sense of there's got to be a crack that cracks us open and helps us reconstruct our understanding of who the hell we are. This is a very momentous time as our sun, or our sense of self, or humanity itself, gets a check because of a huge realization that comes through. All week long, we also have a very contentious energy, which is Mars opposite Saturn. It's resistant, relentlessly resistant and restrictive. A sense of resentfulness can absolutely build. And since Saturn is also semi-square to Chiron, a sense of hopelessness, a sense of well, I'm just not good enough. That's why it's happening. We could take it too personally. This could feel like a personal strike against us, especially since Mars is also quincunx to Chiron. This sense of feeling stunted, feeling like I can't move forward, that nothing that I do helps me move forward. And so we're addressing these issues, and maybe this big undertaking or big breakthrough or awakening helps to push that along as well. But there's definitely challenges with anxiety and depression and resentfulness and anger this week, just an FYI. Also this week, Pluto is trying to Uranus and sextile to Neptune, which is already a spiritual expansion and awakening of something dynamic and unique and different that we never saw before. So this is a uniqueness or an individuality being born, a unique personality coming into existence. So I'd like to see how that translates. That could also be different things like AI or androids or stuff with technological advancements like that. Could also be alien invasion that disrupts our consciousness of what we thought our Earth and existence was, or it can be something as simple as a deepening of our connection to spirit, identifying ourselves as more spiritual creatures that allow our uniqueness to be discovered by connecting to spirit instead of laws, rules, regulations. So it can be a philosophical awakening as well. We do have for most of up until the 15th of this week, Mars is still conjunct to Venus, though I feel like that's pulling apart and lessening in a way. Let's get into Taurus specific information. So for that, I look for A, what's happening in the zodiac sign of Taurus, and B, what's happening with your ruling dignitary, which is Venus. And she's very highly active this week. So let's get into Taurus. So in the zodiac sign of Taurus is Jupiter, and Jupiter is moving between 11 and 12 degrees of Taurus this week, which means it remains in the beginning of the second decan of Taurus. Uranus is there as well. It will be for a couple more years. Uranus is in Taurus at 22 degrees. The North Node will be in Taurus through the 16th of this week until it shifts from 0 degrees Taurus into 29 degrees Aries, because the nodes generally are always in retrograde. They're always kind of moving backwards. So what does this mean? Taurus is going through an expansion and an untraditionalization of its traditional structures. It's trying to grow and expand and reach its different heights and capabilities. It's not easy to change Taurus energy. So that could be why there's a lot of tumbling and deconstruction going on. Then we look at Venus. So what is going on with Venus? Venus is shifting between 27 and 28 degrees of Leo. Now that you could already, if you know astrology and the movement of the planets well enough, you know that's already weird, because Venus moves much faster than that. But Venus is about to retrograde. So she's posting stationary soon. And by next Sunday, I think it's the 23rd of July, she goes retrograde in Leo. So she isn't moving fast. She's slowing down. Venus is slowing down. Money flow could be slowing down. Financial opportunities. This could cause a huge shift and a retrograde when it comes to finances, financial circumstances, situations, desirability, what is attractive to us, what we want, what is like even our relationships can kind of slow down. It doesn't have to be bad. It just means don't push, because if you try to push a retrograde, you try to speed things along, it goes bad. So this is really just about reflection on why we desire what we desire, and do we value what we have, right? And allowing things to go at their own pace instead of trying to push them in the direction we want them to go, especially when it comes to our intimate partnerships. Venus is also sextile to the South Node as it shifts into Libra, which is her other domicile. So sextile to the South Node means there's a lot of comfy coziness when it comes to partnership, a real sense of tranquility there, and a trine to the North Node, which is a harmony with where I am headed based on opportunities that I'm getting from where I've come from. So if opportunities open up, it could be from a familiar place when it comes to Venus right now. She is, for the most part, through the 15th, conjunct to Mars, but she's also quincunx to Pluto and quincunx to Neptune, and that's where she's going to retrograde. And what does that mean? I wrote this down. No use for shallow relationships. No use. She's not kidding around. She's not messing around. She's not playing games. She's a lot more serious with a quincunx to Pluto and quincunx to Neptune. She's agitated, maybe feeling really challenged in a way. This sense of needing to be more intuitive and spiritual, but not being able to be heard or seen that way. It's really going to frustrate a lot of intimate relationships or situations with Venus. So, yeah, she's got no use for shallow shit coming up, and this retrograde is really going to be big part of that. So let's get into the decans. If you know your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Taurus, it's in decan 1 of Taurus, and you are a Taurus 1. This correlates to April Tauruses. So anywhere between, say, April 21st and April 30th, 31st, right up until that edge of May, that is Taurus 1. So definitely Aries cuspers. It's you guys that are conjunct to the North Node through the 17th. If you're on the Aries cusp, you're conjunct to the North Node all week. So if you're born around the 21st, 22nd, even the 23rd of April, you stay conjunct to the North Node. And that's a pretty challenging energy because it can get a little disruptive with, why am I not comfortable? What aspects of myself am I not comfortable with, and do I have to get comfortable with? So if you've been feeling that agitation, it is because of that. Now, the paradigm will then shift into, aside from your traditional value systems, who am I solo, singularly? Do I have what it takes to be solo or singular? I'm always depending on everything else to be in place for me. That kind of consciousness shift can come up for you now. We have a sextile to Saturn, which is productivity in work or focus on work, opportunities when it comes to building yourself out or defining yourself and what you can do for the greater world. So your purpose in the world outside of yourself. And then we have a square to Pluto if you're at the cusp. We also have a square to so what a sextile to Saturn and square to Pluto is, you're having a lot of trouble with change. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to allowing yourself to change the way that you have to in order to grow. You'd prefer things steady and predictable, which is what the sextile to Saturn is. If you're at the cusp between Aries and Taurus, you're also squared to the new moon. So this could be pretty intense energy for you when something sort of either catastrophic happens or whatever is happening on the outside of you greatly impacts how you feel about yourself and really challenges how you've seen yourself. That's around the 17th. All week long, it's by the 16th of up through the 16th of July, your natal suns are going to be square to Mercury. So not a great time to challenge yourself intellectually. Communications could feel like they drop out, and it could feel like what you feel during a Mercury retrograde. The sense of being misunderstood, not being able to communicate yourself correctly. Not a great time to sign any serious paperwork. Could get really frustrating with those situations. So put that off till next week. And then we have a trine to Mars, which means harmony when it comes to energy. There could be an energy up to you have the energy, but it feels like there's a lot of internal struggle and strife as to what do I do with it, because what I want to do with it seems like it's old school and I should be thinking outside of the box, but I don't really want to. It's like almost feeling pushed to be ready for something you're not necessarily ready for. Just an FYI. Taurus 2s. If your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 2s. This usually correlates to May 1st through 10th birthdays. You guys are conjunct to Jupiter. So there's definitely a sense of, I deserve the best and I'm ready for everything. And as soon as I put my finger on it, it should be mine. This is very optimistic energy, but it's also very challenging in that your expectations can precede or exceed your actual intrinsic worth or value or your preparedness. So it is best to just take a chill pill and use that optimism to encourage your growth instead of make you feel entitled to growth. That's the challenge with a sun conjunct Jupiter. You also, as of the 16th of July, have a square to Mercury. So whatever you have to get done, I would suggest before the 15th, get that paperwork in, get those contracts signed, take those tests, do those interviews. Because after the 16th, for about a week, you're going to, communications are going to go kind of glitchy. They're going to glitch. So definitely get important stuff done prior to that. And then we have a semi-square to Neptune, which is a long-term aspect. This semi-square to Neptune is a challenge focusing, brain fog, occasional, or slipping off into the dream world, and sometimes believing in fantasies or giving more weight to them than you actually should. So keeping yourself grounding and finding a productive outlet for creativity is very important with that. Let's move on with Taurus 3s. So Taurus 3s, if you know your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you're Taurus 3s. This correlates to May 11th through 21st birthdays. Okay. It's your natal suns that are conjunct Uranus. So your sense of independence or your need to feel unique and independent from any construct or rules or anything that's been created for you is super, super exaggerated now and will be for the next couple of years. So it's a great time to create something on your own or build out your own business or sense of self, but it could also frustrate relationships because you won't want to be as clingy. You won't want to be as connected. You'll want to be more independent, or at least not have somebody expect too much from you or demand commitment from you. It is also a sense of being attracted to things that are odd, unusual, and finding those aspects of yourself to appreciate them. This week, you are sextile to the sun all week long, which gives you an uptick of courage and confidence and of visibility. People actually seeing you and appreciating your talents and gifts. So this is a great opportunity time for you. Your natal suns will also be sextile to the new moon. So this is a fantastic manifestation time for you to welcome in something new. There's a door of opportunity, a portal of opportunity, if you will, that's opening between the 16th, 17th, and 18th for you. Please take advantage of that energy. You have a square to Venus, which can mean challenges with finances or with intimate partnerships with desirability. And that could be coming especially from that conjunction to Uranus, the sense of, I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to be in the same old, same old. I need something different. I need something unexpected. So your love affairs for right now could be sort of fly-by-night, general or experimental, as opposed to long-term commitment. Just a FYI. And the way to keep your long-term commitment going sexy is to give each other, make sure that you're being given especially freedom, as well as they're being open-minded to experimenting with some outside things or different things to keep it fresh and sexy. Just an FYI. There's a long-term sextile to Neptune, which means your sense of timing and rhythm and your spiritual and psychic abilities, huge opportunities opening up by you getting more in touch with that, and even basically finding opportunities in maybe that kind of work or in those kind of communities, or just an opportunity to learn and grow your connection to the divine. Not religion, just your connection to the divine. We also have a trine to Pluto, which is going to support those efforts and make you feel more at home with your primal sense of self and those things that are undefined, dark, strange, unusual, but also magical and infinite possibilities. So with that position too, especially with this conjunction to Uranus, trine to Pluto, sextile to Neptune, this could be an out-of-world experience for you for the next couple of years, where doors open up and you become something that you didn't even contrive or think of yourself. And then we have a quincunx to the South Node, which means where you come from or the comfort zone itself is irritating the crap out of you, and it's just not where you belong anymore. So it's finding who you are and where you belong now, because it's not going to be where you came from. I love you guys. I love you all. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to Astrology Motivation so that we grow over here. And then come on over with me to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading, Taurus. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.